Hi, my name is Clara Strong. I'm a birth doula at the Doula Group of Evansville. I was always interested in birth. Like, as a kid, I would, if there was like a scene in a movie that had an animal or a person giving birth, I would watch it over and over again because it just, I don't know, I just always thought it was the most magical thing. And then when I was a teenager, my mom actually was considering going back to school. She was a nurse. She was considering going back to school to become a nurse midwife. And so when she was interested in that, she ended up choosing a different path. But that was when I started reading a lot about midwifery and birth. And I loved spiritual midwifery and all of those books. So then I had my 2 kids, and my experiences, my personal experiences with birth, really illuminated a need for support for me, and made it, I don't know, I kind of decided after my daughter was born that we may not have more children, but I wasn't ready to be done with birth yet. So, yeah. I think my favorite thing about being a birth doula, I'm still kind of towards the beginning of my journey. So, but the thing that draws me to that kind of work is just the being present in a moment where there's so much transformation happening. I think that is really magical. And being able to be with families in such a transformative time, I think, is just really special. When parents get to meet their new baby and there's a kind of a sigh of relief, and it's a very emotional moment often, I think that is really special, especially when the baby is able to be placed on the birthing person's chest. It's not always possible, but I think that's really special too. In my experiences of birth, I found that there were a lot of people who didn't really vocalize that they believed I could do what I wanted to do. Mm-hmm. And so I think as a doula, it's really important to me to be that voice of support. I mean, it seems so obvious, but having somebody who believes in you and your capability as a person having a baby. I think that's who I would want to be as a doula. I went through the DONA birth doula training, and my understanding is that DONA is kind of the largest, most reputable, that I know of at least, organization that certifies birth doulas. So yeah, it was really fun. I live here in Evansville on the west side with my 2 kids. I have an almost 4-year-old and an 18-month-old. And my husband, and we have a garden, and we have chickens and geese and a dog and a rabbit. So we stay very busy with all of these kind of projects at home. And I also live walking distance from my immediate family. So we have kind of a little community on the west side, and we're all very close.
And you drove all the way to Newburgh.
Yeah. Yeah.
How do you feel about the east side, west side tension in Evansville?
Well, I lived in New Hampshire until I was 12 or so. And then even after that, I would go back to New Hampshire on a regular basis. So I always felt like kind of an outsider. And I was homeschooled also. So the whole west side, east side thing, I never fully identified really strongly with the west side either. So I don't know. It's I think it's a really interesting thing to observe. But I do have a lot of extended family that has lived on the west side for a long time, and they feel very strongly about the west side being the place to be, So
I find it hilarious.
yeah,
I'm not
I
from
think
here,
it's pretty funny.
What is your favorite part about living in Evansville? Favorite thing?
I mean, the thing that keeps us here is family, definitely. I love, it's really important to me to be close to family and for my kids to have extended family that they can be around regularly. But I also, I mean, in terms of what I love about Evansville specifically, I think there is a lot of room for growth here. And yeah, I'll leave it at that.
What do you like to geek out about when it comes to doula stuff? Like, are there specific things that you're a little geeky about?
I mean, I just love knowing kind of the numbers behind the efficacy of doulas, and I really enjoy being able to say, doulas, there's evidence that having the presence of a birth doula decreases the likelihood of like unnecessary interventions and all that. I think, and I don't know, I'm trying to think of what I geek out about. Something that is kind of just really interesting to me that I don't feel like I fully understand, but I am like very intrigued by is these stories of orgasmic birth. And I just think that is a really interesting phenomenon. And I think it's a testament to like how powerful the mind can be when you're experiencing birth. So I don't know. I think that's really kind of like interesting, but
yeah,
not my experience at all. But I love thrifting. I really enjoy like the process of thrift shopping, and I actually like one of my side hustles is reselling things. So that's something that I kind of enjoy doing. I have way too many hobbies. Like I read a ton. I am interested in all sorts of crafts. I am into quilting, but like I've never finished a quilt, but I've started many of them. I have a sewing machine. I sometimes like will invite my siblings. I'm the oldest of 5, so I will invite all of my younger siblings over and we have like an art night and we'll do a group art project. So there are a lot of things that I kind of want to do with my free time, and it's hard for me to choose.
How did you meet your husband?
We met in college in Ohio. So we both went to undergrad at Antioch College in Yellow Springs, and he is from California, so he kind of didn't know what he wanted to do after college, and we decided to move back to Evansville to be close to my family. And he was a media arts major there, so I was a psychology major. I think the hardest thing for me is finding the balance between letting my own experiences lend like helpful wisdom and noticing when I'm projecting my own fears or anxiety onto a situation because of my experiences with birth. So finding that balance, I think, is difficult.
What do you like to do on a Saturday with your kids? If it's like 72 and sunny?
I mean, we have like picnics in the front yard. That's something we will always do if we have free time and the weather's nice, is just bring out like a snack tray and just sit in the front yard and they play with cars and trucks and stuff. I also like walking at Howell Wetlands. Sometimes we'll do family walks out there. And yeah, I don't know. I enjoy like grocery shopping too. I know that's like not really a fun, exciting thing, but when we have a lot of time where we're all home as a family, I like doing family grocery shopping trips because then my kids get to enjoy, like, I don't know, taking their time and being themselves in the store. Mm-hmm. You know, I think I present as kind of a quiet person often, and I I've been told that I seem shy, and I am an introvert, but I think I've heard that people are surprised when they hear that I have been a caseworker and I've done social work, and so the kind of thick skin that goes along with that, I think people are surprised when they hear that I'm like not uncomfortable with conflict. Because I am kind of relatively new as a birth doula, clients who are comfortable with somebody who is still learning, I think that's a priority. And that hasn't been an issue yet. And I also know that every birth is different, so I will always be learning at births, but that's something right now that is kind of important to me. And I also think that clients who, of course, like flexibility is so important, but I like the idea of working with clients who kind of know what they want beyond just a healthy mom or a healthy parent, healthy baby, because I think that's the bare minimum. So having like a vision for their birth that I can help them work towards is just helpful to me.
Same. Well, seriously. What do you feel like people get wrong about doulas locally?
Just from what I've heard, that I think some people assume that doulas only attend certain types of births, that doulas can't be helpful in the case of a cesarean birth or a medicated birth, when I think it can be just as helpful to have a doula present for those kinds of births.
Yeah.
And I certainly am comfortable attending that kind of birth. It doesn't have to be fully unmedicated or vaginal or anything like that.